Morning, everyone. How we doing today? Turn this volume up. There we go. So, financial news, daily financial news, Friday, June 26th. Remember, we need 100 thumbs up. We've done 6 days in a row now. Thank you very much. Let's get to 100, and we will do another live stream just of your questions tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Again, if you'd like to be a part of that, all you have to do is go to any of the daily financial news from this week and leave your question, and I will do my best to answer it tomorrow. So I look forward to it. I would say right now I could probably answer another 8 to 12 questions, just given the time. So if you have questions, leave them. And if I don't have enough questions, we will either open it up to everyone listening, or I'll just finish early. So we will check that out. So, yep, I rarely put out evening kind of daily financial news because, frankly, I'm into the rest of my day, right? I do most of this work in the morning. But I did put out a news alert yesterday saying I didn't feel good about today. And unfortunately, thus far, I've been right. And we're going to talk a lot about it here. I unfortunately think it gets worse from here. When I last looked at the market, it was down about 400. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, this might sound crazy to call it this early. I could just leave it alone and say I'm right. But again, that's not what this channel is about. I'm trying to, because I'm all about the consumer. What's going on with the consumer? What's going on with cost of capital? That's what this channel is. I don't see it being good news heading into the close. We could see a plus. I'm not plus a minus 800 day easily. Part of me wanted to call 1,000 down, but let's just call it more than 800 down. That's just how I feel with. We were on such a good clip of positive news. It started to reverse pretty heavily Thursday, and I think going into the close today, there will be some people that don't want to be long stocks because you have 2 day Saturday and Sunday about this health scare and news coming out, and you don't want to be long the weekend and then have Texas shut down, for example. So I think there's going to be a lot of selling. Plus, there's the rebalancing of the Russell 2000 late in the day. So we'll see what happens there. Good morning, everyone. So a couple of things. I want to start with good news, man. Let's talk about the Gap. The Gap coming out of nowhere with a partnership with Kanye West. I think that's. I think retail stores partnering with different influencers or icons or whatnot could absolutely revitalize brands. Whether or not even know who Kanye is, he launched a Yeezy line and is doing quite well. So now partnering up with Gap, I would love to see what that contract looks like because I think Kanye is a pretty good businessman. I bet you he's got some ownership stake and some pretty good kind of revenue metrics. And let's just say I think this is going to be good for both Gap and Kanye. So I think other retailers who are struggling should look at this as a model. And again, the beauty of this is you don't even have to do it brick and mortar, right? You could take this line and put it all online. So pretty cool. Unfortunately, that's about where the good news stops. That's the only good news I have for today. Pretty crazy. So I caught an interview from Invitation Homes. I don't know if you know who they are. If you're on this channel, we all should. They are the largest owner of rental housing across the country. They own 80,000 homes in 16 markets. I caught an interview with their CEO. And a couple of things stood out. First, single-family homes in the suburbs are in high demand, and rents are actually going up in most of those markets, which again is what I've been telling you. I think the single-family home is going to be the best investment for the next decade. This gentleman agrees. The one thing that really caught my attention is check this out. right? This is the crazy stuff that goes through my head. So they have 80,000 homes. And later in the interview, he says, we invested $2.3 billion to secure these 80,000 homes. Most people hear that and they're like, oh my God, billions of dollars. I'm freaking trying to do the math in my head to figure out how much they put down and fixed up these houses. The answer is $28,000. $28,000 per house gets you 80,000 homes at $2.3 billion. And again, realize what they did. They went out and used private money, right? They used hedge fund money first, then they created a company, and then they spun it off. These folks have nothing invested in these right now. And if single family homes keep rising in value, you better believe at some point in the future there'll probably be sellers. But Invitation Homes came out of nowhere, 80,000 homes in the last crisis, and they are printing money today. Forbearance requests are up. There were 2 weeks in a row where they were down, right? Roughly 130,000 folks came off the forbearance list the last 2 weeks in total, most of that last week. But unfortunately, 80,000 or 79,000 people rejoined. So we've already lost 50% of the improvement. We're standing at 8.8% of mortgages. And what I really think is happening, my greatest fear, I've talked about it many, many times, is all of these layoffs that we talked about that impacted renters, retail, restaurant, all of that, is now rolling into that second. Think of a pebble dropping into a pond. It is getting scarier and scarier out there. So we will look into that. Another thing I saw today is airline unions, pilots, maintenance, flight attendants, all of them. They have sent a letter to the federal government asking for another bailout. This is not the CEOs. Let's be clear. This is the unions. Because right now, the airlines took their first, whatever it is, $42 billion to keep headcount where it is till October 1. I think there's a general understanding that the date will get here and all of the airlines will be significantly smaller than they are today. So the unions are trying to get ahead of it. They're asking for $32 billion more, which will get them through February or March 1st of next year. We need less airlines. Certainly today, less flights. Not good. I don't know if you saw this, but Texas, we talked about Texas and Florida yesterday kind of pausing their opening. Unfortunately, Texas has just announced, like in the last 20 minutes, they are rolling back some things. This is not good. Texas just yesterday announced that they are delaying or postponing or canceling, whatever the right word is, elective surgeries. That's not good. Yeah, Apple closing stores, again, not good. But again, back to the elective surgeries. That's how hospitals make money. I mean, if we've not learned anything from this, is when hospitals lose that, they need a bailout. It's just not good. And we all should wish Texas and Florida and all the states suffering from this a speedy recovery or bounce back or whatever the right vocabulary is. It's not good. American Airlines, again, back to the airlines, they've announced that, you know what? We starting July 1, we're going to start selling middle seats again. We talked about this months ago. The airlines were not going to sell middle seats. They were only going to be at 70% occupancy. They said, you know what? We're not profitable at that. If we can fill up a plane, we're going to fill up a plane. So this is what I expect, and I think Southwest has already started it. There is going to be a fare war like no other fare war. I mean, you are going to get $39 flights here and there, and they're going to stuff us in sardines. Expect to wear a mask. I fully expect everybody to wear a mask or you won't fly. But those flights are going to be full. If they're going to fill them, they're going to fill them. So this is interesting. Also, American's going to add. They said 100 or 1,000 flights to their schedule, which is interesting. And again, we're 80% down from a year ago today. Back to kind of that ripple effect that scares me so much. Accenture, right, a very large consulting agency, is cutting staff, also less hiring, and also not promoting folks. So they're controlling costs. Again, Wall Street, the stock is going to like that, right? But it's going to hurt people, right? It's going to hurt consumers. It's going to eventually ripple through our economy. So I do not see that as a good thing for what we track on this channel. I don't know if you saw this, but Biden put out a note. I don't remember where he was being interviewed. I should have wrote that down. Sorry. But basically, if he was president, he would mandate masks. He would sign an executive order, basically take a leadership role from the federal, saying everybody should act accordingly. Again, just a taste of what might be coming if the executive branch is changed. Not saying good or bad, just it'll be different. Nike was the thing that scared me a little bit yesterday. I've known Nike for a long time. I've actually been to their headquarters. I've been to their Nike store, which is awesome that they have for their employees. It's freaking amazing. And they lost 51 cents a share when they were expected to make 7 cents profit. That's a huge miss for someone like them. And you could come out and say they've been down this and that because of protests or Colin Kaepernick or whatever you want. I think that stuff has long been blown over, at least for the masses. And to see them miss by, gosh, what is that, 58 cents? That's a 4x miss, a 5x miss. That's not a good thing. And I consider Nike to be one of the best retailers from a web presence. But it's clear, Nike's got expensive shoes. And people are buying less expensive stuff. And it's not good. It is not good. Office Depot is doing a reverse stock split. Man, I haven't heard one of these in a while. Usually it's a stock split, right? You got a share, now you have two. They're doing a 1 to 10 reversal. So if you own 100 shares of Office Depot, come, I think it's July 1st, you will now own 10 shares. Again, their stock is not doing very well, so they want to get that stock price up. Verizon, big deal at Facebook. What Facebook has got to realize now is Verizon is the biggest name to join the boycott because they are spreading hate. What I think could happen now that a big name, right? It's cute when Ben and Jerry's and the like were doing it, but now that Verizon has come out, it is going to be interesting if more big companies use the Facebook boycott as a sign that they're doing something. A lot of big companies have said platitudes and put words out, but with Verizon coming out, it is possible, may not be likely, but it is possible that other big companies use this event, the Facebook boycott, as, hey, look at us. We're standing by our statements. If that happens, watch out, right? If that becomes a trend, right? Again, who knows? But that's where Facebook is right now. They're very soon going to have to react to this, I think. Big news of the day: Microsoft. I don't know if you guys knew this, but actually at the store, at the mall we used to go to, Valley Fair, Microsoft had a store, right across from the Apple store. Apple was here, and Microsoft was here. Microsoft just came out this morning saying, we're done. We're closing 100% of our Microsoft stores. I actually don't know how many they have, but it's more than one. And that's just another retail establishment closing. I'm sure they were paying their lease, but they're going to leave a mall. And if you own a mall, you've just lost another tenant. And they had a huge store. I think it was actually a double store. So not good. And then the last one for me, this is what really scared me yesterday and what caused me to have the afternoon conversation with you is the bank stress test didn't go very well. I mean, you could read all the news and they want to make it sound good and get all of that, but they did not go well, right? First and foremost, you know it didn't go well because they're going to test them again this year, right? They were on a yearly cycle. They're like, oof, we need to look at you again. That's not good. They put a cap on dividends. That's not good. They stopped share buyback. That's not good. Now the question is, who are they talking about? One of the things in the stress test that happens is they don't share names, right? They don't want to call out, hey, you're the ugly duckling, you're in the penalty box. They decide to put everybody in the same box. That way we don't have bank runs. That's what they're doing. But it's pretty clear, based on my reading this morning, that the best guesses are Wells Fargo and Capital One. Right, there is talk that Capital One and Wells Fargo will have to reduce, if not eliminate, their dividends. And again, play this back. Remember what Chase did like 6 weeks ago now, and Wells Fargo followed, not doing seconds, upping credit scores. This should all be working out, and this is going to be a painful year for the banks. We have, especially the commercial side, right? We have only started to see what's going on. So again, I mean, I don't know what the market is doing right now. I think it ends up worse than it is today. I think it's a negative trend all day. It wasn't hard to see last night. I mean, when I see news that scares me, I'm going to talk to you. That's what last night was about. As some of the comments have said in that, I'm emotional. Yeah, I'm emotional. That's probably why I don't do stocks, because I get inside my head and grind on stuff. So I am a horrible stock market investor or trader or speculator, whatever you want to call yourself. But that said, I can read the tea leaves and I can see how these things play out. Because again, I've been watching the consumer for 2 decades, and the consumer is my biggest competitor, right? So it's going to be interesting. This weekend's going to be interesting, especially on the health events. With Texas not only pausing but rolling back, that news I read about a half hour ago, that's not good. I've been reading, I read about Texas' largest hospital running out of ICU beds. That's not good. If you can think back to Jonathan Twombly, about 3 weeks ago, he talked about on our weekly expert series that there for a while and he heard ambulances every night just going and going and going. That's where Texas could be going, and that's something we shouldn't wish on anyone. That's scary. So pay attention, raise cash. This ain't over. All right, everybody, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Do me a favor. Let's help grow this channel. Let's ask more subscribers to join. Share these daily videos. Again, I do them every day right around 7:30 a.m. Let's see if we can't get this channel over, I don't know, pick a number, 8,000 subscribers here in the next couple of weeks. And to do that, I need your help. So share it, ask people to join, all of those great things. All righty, everybody. And if you have questions, Andrew, that's a great question. Do me a favor, leave that in the comments so I answer it tomorrow. All right, buddy? Thanks.